Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Divinely Transformed. My name is Lisa, and whether you're new or returning, I'm glad that you're here. This is just a quick video I wanted to talk about because it's coming up and it's very important. There are many people out there that are not being their true authentic self in their day-to-day life, in their home life, their family life, their work life, on any front or all. There are people out there who are living lives, but it's like they're faking their own lives. They're not being their true self. They are keeping themselves in lives they don't want to be living in on purpose for reasons, and it's usually for reasons of like marriages, children, finances, things like that. So, why not being your true self to others ultimately is a foolish investment? Because when you're living your life that appeases others, makes others happy, and you want something else and you're suppressing what you want, that you're suppressing yourself. You're restraining yourself. You're holding yourself back. You're keeping secrets. You're limiting yourself. And what happens when you do that? You become depressed. You become anxious, lonely, miserable, isolated, anything. You become violent, you become unpredictable, you become any and all of those things and more. We are not supposed to be living our lives that way. But yet we're programmed ourselves to stay in traumatizing situations with people and forcing ourselves to be in lives that we don't want. I'm talking about actors, people who are playing a part in their personal everyday life, but it's supposed to be their real life, but they're just faking their way through life. Nobody really knows these people because they keep their true selves secret and hidden and private, and they project a different persona to people. These are usually people who are they're very insecure, very negative, very miserable, very intolerant, very egotistical, prideful. But these are people who want a lot of attention. They'll do whatever it takes for attention or money. But why faking is ultimately a foolish investment. Because when you're constantly refraining from something that you do want, say like for example, you're in this karmic marriage that you don't want to be in. You've been in it for a long time. It resonated with you in the beginning, but as time went on, the marriage doesn't resonate with you anymore. The other person doesn't resonate with you. You kind of grown apart. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of financial hardships. Y'all been together for years. You've got children involved here. And you're in love with someone else. Alright? But you walk away from love to invest in the karmic marriage because that's where your obligation and duty is, right? Because that's where you've had your history, that's where you have your children, your money, and your life, and all of that, and you just stay and make that shit work, and it's not working, right? And you meet someone, you fall in love with them, and you walk away, and you reject love to work on the obligation here. You're suppressing yourself. You're abusing yourself. That is also someone who doesn't have the confidence to be themselves. They don't have the confidence to express their emotions in a safe and practical way. And so then you walk away from the love of your life to continue in the life that you've been living, and it's like such a heavy burden to you that you just can't take it anymore, and you have to do something about it. Restricting yourself from people who are loving and good and kind, and keeping yourself in toxic situations where they treat you like shit and blah, 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 blah. You're rejecting love for people who are doing evil to you. Why it's a foolish investment? It's because it's self-abuse. Self-restriction is self-abuse. And then you're allowing someone else to hurt you on top of that. So that's giving your power away, right? So, if you would have only spoken up, you would have gotten these divorces. If you would have followed your heart, y'all wouldn't be in the situations you're in. But now you're in these situations, and you're finding that you've been fake all your life. You have not been honest to others about what you want and about who you truly are. And you realize about how hiding of yourself has only hurt you. It doesn't help you. It hurts you. When you're not honest with yourself and others. It's Seven of Swords energy. It's very foolish. We're given these lives to have, to enjoy, to live to the fullest. When we let others dictate and control us, dominate us in whatever arena of our life, that's when we've betrayed ourselves. That we have given our power over someone else for them to control, dominate, and enslave us. That is spiritual slavery. Do you really want to continue to be a slave now that you're aware of it? Or do you want to be free? Freedom is where your happiness is. Freedom is where your abundance is. Freedom is where your heart is. Freedom is where your destiny is. Your best life. That's where your freedom is. How bad do you want the freedom? Or are you going to be scared of it because you've never had it? And if you're scared of it because you've never had it, then you let fear defeat you. Fear is not of God. Fear is a demonic spirit. Especially whenever it is gripping us. That is a demon. And that you're in their energetic clutches whenever you actually feel the grip of fear upon you. When you are just so fucking scared, you don't know what to do. That means you just lock frequencies with the demon of fear. I don't know about you. That doesn't make me feel very comfortable. But you know, it happens from time to time because we're human. We're going to lock into that frequency sometimes. But the point is like when we know it, we may be able to strategize our way out of it. Because sometimes, in order to like heal ourselves, sometimes we need to have a strategy, because like when you're at the beginning of your healing journey, you have like so much on your list. Your needs are so great. You've got this, that, and the other going on with you, and everything's bad and negative and needs to be healed, and there's just like this big long list, and it's like so overwhelming you don't know where to start. You have to pick like the first 1 to 2 things, like the most serious things that need the most attention on for change, for growth, for healing, for processing, for a new perspective, right? So if you find yourself that you have trouble being honest with others about yourself, about your thoughts, about your emotions, I would really recommend that you go and see a counselor and have this be a point of focus, because this is what hinders most people from the good things in their life. It's when we're holding back ourselves. We're keeping a part of ourselves secret when we have our own thoughts and opinions about something and we don't voice it and we just keep it suppressed and hidden. Like, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It's not worth mentioning. Someone's gonna get mad. And the more you do that, that energy stays there, it doesn't go anywhere. And you just sit and stew in it. And then the emotions start boiling and the pressure starts mounting. The burdens become great. You're gonna erupt and overflow. That's no way to live. I was an emotional stuffer for almost 40 years, or around 40 years. I was probably about 36 when I realized that I was an emotional stuffer. And once I realized that I was an emotional stuffer, it probably took me another 2 or 3 years to finally do something about it. I stayed in it for a little while, even after I figured out what I was doing my whole life. And it wasn't something that was new to me. This is something I've been doing my whole life. Like, I've always been like very quiet, reserved, shy, kept my opinion to myself. Mostly because I was afraid of what the reaction would be, because I grew up in a violent and chaotic and unbalanced home, and I never knew what to expect. And so I often found that when I didn't voice my opinion, that things were easier. So lots of times someone would say something, I would just think it and not say it, and I would just keep it inside, not really realizing that it was just staying there and it didn't really leave, it didn't go anywhere, and it was just adding to the pressure, adding to the chaos within me. And yeah, so I had, you know, been programmed to be this way. So I understand it. But when you can recognize that you're doing it, is a check. Then you need to recognize that when you're doing it, you're harming yourself. Check. Then whenever you're doing it, you need to recognize that you're harming others. Check. So then you can finally be like, hey, okay, I'm really having a problem here. And so I'm really going to have to, you know, start focusing on improving areas of my life that I've left neglected here. And one of those main areas is expressing my true self, being my true authentic self, revealing my thoughts and my feelings in a healthy and a balanced way. And you have to start doing that by being able to go to a counselor so they can help you put things in a perspective, help you get things sorted out, help you see things from a different perspective, so you can build into actually projecting your true authentic self out there instead of the persona, the actor, your representative that you portray to others. Because when a child is abused and neglected, especially emotionally and physically, they are automatically programmed to just shut down and isolate. And this is about like staying invisible. This is about like staying inaccessible and staying isolated and staying in a belief system and in practices that make you unhappy, that are imposed upon you by someone else. You just kind of adopt a persona, and you project that persona out because that persona is the best persona that's going to get you along in the world. And that works for a while until it doesn't. It's just a coping mechanism. It does help for a while, but because it's not a healthy coping mechanism, it stops working because you didn't get to the root to the problem in the first place. The root of the problem is that fear of you being your true self. You have to learn to face your fears. We have to project our true selves out there instead of the persona that we would rather people see. We can't be one way in secret and another way to the world. We can't live that way. We need to be vulnerable, and we need to be vulnerable to show our flaws to one another. Because whenever we're actually like expressing ourselves like that, it shows that we're being mature. And whenever we hide it, and then we start gaslighting people and obsessively thinking about it, it's called limerence. It's really whenever it becomes a huge problem and it starts getting into that negative energy spell work that really can be avoided if we can just learn to communicate. If we're communicating and expressing ourselves authentically and with integrity we wouldn't have half the problems that we have in the world. Communication's a huge thing. And many people aren't doing it correctly, practically, nicely, lovingly. Sometimes people withhold communication for whatever reason. That's abuse. Sometimes it's necessary, though, if you're in extreme situations. But it's very much a foolish investment to not be your true self, because you will break your own heart while you're faking being this other person. And then whenever you break your own heart, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to learn your lessons and heal your heart and follow your heart and get those toxic people out of your life that are bringing you down, that are oppressing you, that are keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you restricted, keeping you isolated, keeping you enslaved, keeping you limited? You gonna stay stuck with them people, or are you gonna break free? You want freedom? You want change? You want happiness, success, love, abundance, all of that? Or do you want to sit and wonder what shit could be like with the way shit is now? Those are our choices. Do we have the confidence and the boldness to be our true, authentic self and to be in our integrity? To be the person that we want to be, to live the lives that are resonant with us? Or are we going to continue to keep ourselves stuck in something that doesn't resonate with ourselves anymore? Something that makes us miserable and unhappy and restricted and limited, and makes us lose our money and our health and our jobs and relationships and whatever. When we can stop learning to limit ourselves is when we can truly evolve and come out of the programming that we've been programmed with when we've been raised from this lifetime, and even from past life karma coming into influencing us. So that's just a little aside message. This wasn't a reading or anything, but it's so much more beneficial to stop hiding. So if anybody is out there that is really hiding their authenticity, hiding their feelings, hiding what they want, if they're not living the life that resonates with them, the life that they want to have, and they're keeping themselves stuck, I really encourage you to really get into this video and start healing that part of your life here, because you're really just going to find yourself so restricted. You're not going to be able to do anything until you do something about it. So the sooner you start doing something about it, the better. So you have all the information you need in this video, I believe, to get started. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me. The link is in the description box below. I'm always here to answer any questions or whatever. But that's what I have for you, and I'm going to get started on another reading for y'all. So thank you for supporting my channel, and I'll be talking to y'all soon.